Her triumphs, I took a group of women that didn't believe in themselves, and I just believed in them. Her trials,
I never wanted to go to practice. I was losing a ton of weight.
her story,
I just put my faith in God and just trusted the system.
her why.
I want people to see what I did and say, oh, that's so awesome. I'm going to be better than that. That would be how I hope that this journey ends.
This is Her Why, where we tell the stories from BYU women's sports. Here is your host, Lauren McLean.
We're so glad you've joined us for Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. I'm Lauren McLean, and today we have an amazing guest for a special Mother's Day episode celebrating the incredible women who balance motherhood and athletics. I'm joined by former BYU soccer star, National Women's Soccer League champion, and current forward for Levante Badalona, and most importantly, mom to 7-year-old Scarlett, Michele Vasconcelos. Michele, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, Lauren. It's been a long time.
It has. I loved covering you at BYU. You're just incredibly talented, and it's so fun. You're in Spain right now, which is kind of crazy. Earlier this year, you made the move to Spain to join Levante Badalona. How did that opportunity come about?
Yeah, so I knew that I wanted to play overseas again. I kind of felt like I'd run my course in the NWSL. And so we were looking at different countries, and Portugal was definitely on our list, but I had a couple opportunities in Spain, and we love FC Barcelona. And this was right outside, Badalona is kind of like a little subskirt of Barcelona. And so we decided on this, that it was a good move for our family.
And how are you adjusting to life in Spain? Because this is your second time in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like the second time around?
It's definitely easier. I understand more Spanish. I definitely have to ask questions still about what's going on, but not as much as before. So that's been fun. And I found myself a lot braver speaking this time around. I'm kind of frustrated with myself the first time. I was really shy to speak, so I would just speak English because I had so many English speakers. But this time I'm like, I'm just going for it. Like I've been speaking a lot more Spanish, and it's not good. I feel like my teammates a lot of times are looking at me and they're like, okay, but they've been really, really great.
So tell me how you kind of overcome that language barrier with your teammates, because that's a thing. So how have you gotten to know your teammates when you're not super fluent in Spanish and they don't know very much English?
Yeah, it is difficult, and I feel like it's hard to get to know each other on a deeper level. But right off the bat, they've been super welcoming with me, trying to speak English. Always the thing I love about the Spanish culture is they are always greeting each other. In the United States, especially in the team environment, we come in, it's kind of like, hey, but no, they go around to each girl, and it's even if it's just saying buenos dias, but a little touch, they do kiss on the cheeks a lot, not for soccer all the time, but the culture is just very touchy, very I don't want to say lovey, that's a weird word, but yeah, so I think in that aspect, it's been great. I don't feel like I need to be super good friends with them just because I have my family, but I feel like I know them well enough now that I'm comfortable with them, and
yeah,
it's been really fun.
The culture is just a little more warm, you could say.
That's a great word. I was like, what word am I thinking? Yes, exactly.
So your husband speaks Portuguese and Spanish. Does he kind of help you navigate?
No.
When you go to... Really?
He never translates anything. I think he wants me to have to learn. Or I don't know if he just assumes that I know, but he heard me. I speak a lot more Spanish when he's not around, at places, because he can't do it for me. And he heard me the other day, and he was like, wow, you can speak, but I'm like, well, yeah, I'm shy around you because he always teases me. But yeah, he doesn't really help me, but it's okay.
Rude. But hey, he's making you do it on your own, and then you're learning quicker, right?
I don't know if I'm learning quicker, but he's doing something.
How is the level of play in Liga F compared to your experience in the NWSL? What are some of the similarities and some of the differences?
Yeah, Liga F, the Spanish league, is a lot more based on having the ball, less running, less physicality, and less transition. So then again, yeah, the opposite. The NWSL is super high paced, transition, really athletic, really fit teams. I think it's based more on that, I would say, is the physical aspect in the United States. And so it's always a little bit surprising, coming here at first. Although this is a style that I prefer, is having the ball more, not having to do those sprints up and down the field all game. It's more of my style, but it is a lot different. And I've talked to a couple Americans, as we play each other in the teams here, and this is their first season, and they're always like, this is so different than what I was expecting. So
saving your legs a little more than what you would do.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more like quicker thinking and things like that. So
do you have a preference? Do you like one better than the other, the style of play?
Yeah, I mean, they're just different. I think I prefer to not have to transition and run as much. And to just have the ball more. So for me, I do like the Spanish style of soccer. Granted, like I said, not all teams play like that here, but a lot of teams do like to keep the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm. I remember you battled pretty hard to be able to come back to Utah and play for the Royals. Was it hard to leave home again?
It was hard because, we bought a house and my daughter is very into her school and we have that community. But we knew like right now it's just until the end of the season. And so, I've only been here a month. I'll be here like 2 more months and then we're done. So it was kind of just a fun little stint. And, I think that was a lot easier to make the leap rather than last time when we came to Sevilla. It was from August until June. So that was a lot more difficult, but we didn't have roots like we do now. So
yeah. Then you head back to Utah. So you're there just a couple of months and then you go back to Utah.
Yeah, it's like the perfect amount of time.
That's awesome. Let's go back a little bit. You're from Salt Lake City. When you started thinking about college, did you always know you wanted to stay close by?
Yeah, and not even close by. Like I always knew that I wanted to go to BYU. I remember being at girls camp. I can't remember how old I was, maybe 14. We made these like little journals and it was like one page was like, I dream. And it was like, I want to play for BYU soccer. So it was like just right away, I knew that.
That's so cool. You had an amazing freshman season. You started off, you were WCC Freshman of the Year, tied for 4th in the conference for total goals. What stands out to you most about that season?
Ooh, that year was big because we made it to the Elite 8. That is the thing I remember the most and was most excited about because I can't remember, and correct me, I don't know the year. BYU hadn't made it to the Elite 8 in a really long time. I think it might have been 2003 or 2002. I don't know. So it'd been a really long time. And so it was a really big step for the program to make it back to that round in the tournament.
So you had these crazy high expectations of what collegiate soccer was like your freshman season. And then you had to take a medical red shirt your sophomore year, right? And you were out most of the season. What happened there?
Yeah, I tore my ACL right at the beginning of the year. And I guess, honestly, this kind of goes into the theme of, I think everything that I'll talk about today is like, expectations. I had like these expectations for what I thought it would be. And that was definitely a curveball, but there were so many blessings and like miracles that came out of that as well. And, I got an extra year with one of my best friends, Busy, who was coming up after me. So there was a lot of things to be grateful for.
Was it hard though, going from kind of the star player on the team as a freshman and then having to sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else play?
Yeah, it's really difficult and it's really lonely too, because a lot of times through ACL rehab, or I think, any big injury, you're not with the team a lot. You're doing a lot of things on your own and you're doing things that are very basic. Like you said, you went from being able to sprint and jump and do all these things with the ball to now I'm not learning, but like I have to bend my knee. Like that is what's hard for me, is like bending and straightening my knee. And so, yeah, that definitely was difficult. And I think the mindset too of fearing that it was going to happen again, but just trying to strengthen and change that mindset that, I can't live in fear. I just have to do everything I can to prepare to get back on the field. And then from there, I just have to play.
And then you did that, but you also got married to Pedro Vasconcelos your junior year of college, and he was on the
Yes.
men's team, the
Correct.
BYU men's soccer team, right? So how did the two of you meet?
We actually met at one of his teammates' weddings. The joke was that so my brother went to Brazil for his mission. The joke was that he got my brother's phone number, but not mine. So, yeah.
Because he was chatting with your brother and you're like, hey.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah, we didn't start dating for a while. So he started taking me out a little bit, but then I started dating one of his other teammates. So it was a mess for a little bit, but he kept his persistence and we eventually started dating, and here we are, actually almost at 10 years married this year.
Wow.
So,
oh my gosh, congrats.
Yeah,
that's a big milestone. So was he the one that made the first move?
Yes.
To start dating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and the nice thing with us was that before we started dating, we were just best friends for a long time. He was actually at that point taking out my teammates too, but we were like friends. We were talking about it all, hanging out all the time. And I think I finally realized, I was like, man, he would be like a really good boyfriend, And then it just started. I was like, so then it happened.
How did that work with the two of you? And probably still now, the two of you being soccer players. How did you, because you're both competitive, and and I'm not sure about your personalities. Some people don't want advice. Some people do. What was the dynamic between the two of you when it came to sports?
So there are times where I'm that person who wants advice, and then that time that I don't want advice, but he's very good at always wanting to give advice. So it's definitely been a balance, but it's fun that we share that together, that love of sports. Because whether we're playing together, granted, sometimes we are so competitive that we do fight a little bit when we're playing soccer together. But we love to go, watch games. And now that Scarlett's playing soccer, just going out in the backyard and playing with her, it's fun that we share that.
Are you guys competitive in anything else that you do, or is it just mainly soccer?
That's a good question. I think it's mainly soccer, and it's not even more competitive about winning. It's like, I don't know. He's very serious on the field, where I like to have more fun. I guess has fun too, but he's always like, "Come on, Michelle, focus." Or I'm like, "It's supposed to be fun," But
that's awesome. And has that love for soccer trickled down into Scarlett? You mentioned that you'll take her in the backyard and you guys will kick around. Is it something she loves to do at this age?
Yeah, I think so. She plays on a team. Well, she did in Utah, and we found a team for her to practice with while she's here, and she's always smiling. We never want to push her, but as long as she's having fun, we definitely will keep going with it and go play in the backyard whenever she wants. And I think the fun thing now is, we've always, when we've traveled to Europe before, made it a priority to go to soccer games because we love to watch really good games, whether in England, in the Premier League, or in Spain in La Liga. And so before, it was always kind of a struggle at the games to be like, okay, bring snacks, bring all this stuff to entertain. Whereas now she's cheering at the game, she's watching, and she is loving it.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Michelle talks about the decision to go pro and becoming a mom just as her career was beginning. This is her why. What's up, everyone? This is Lauren McLean. If you like my podcast, make sure you check out 2 Point Conversion, hosted by Connor Pay and Chase Roberts. Each week, the two football players invite a guest on to discuss the Come Follow Me lesson from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You can find it wherever you get podcasts or on the BYU Radio app. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McLean, here with former BYU soccer star and current forward for Spain's Levante Badalona, Michele Vasconcelos. Okay, let's talk about your senior season at BYU, because it was nothing short of legendary, I feel like, from scoring 8 goals in just 7 games late in the year, being named WCC Player of the Year, and you finished ranked 15th in the nation by Top Drawer Soccer. When you look back at that stretch, what do you remember most?
Obviously, it was a great year for us as a team, and I was really happy. I had all these personal goals that I was really happy that I had achieved as far as goals and assists, but I still think I'll always be a little bit, I don't know if the word is sad, but, looking back, that I wish we could have made it further in the tournament. That was, I think, one of my biggest goals, is that I wanted to really leave my mark in that way, especially, making it to the Elite Eight. And I knew we could have done it, but we got knocked out in the round of 16. So that was a big disappointment. But like I said, it was still a great year, and I had so much fun playing that year.
When you think of yourself personally, was there a moment during that year where you're like, I am playing some of the best soccer of my life, where you just felt super confident in your abilities?
I did feel that confidence, definitely. I remember I had made like this paper kind of outlining all the games and wrote down, these are how many goals, how many assists I want to have, and like really pushing for that. And I remember like I could cross it out and put like more, like, hey, I did it for this game. And so that was like really rewarding to be able to see like, hey, like not only am I reaching these, but I am doing more than what I thought I could do. So that was really fulfilling.
With playing that kind of soccer, did you already have it in your mind your senior season that you wanted to go pro?
Yeah. Before the season started, I'd sat down with Pedro, my husband, and we kind of talked about it. And he said, if you want to do this, I'll support you in this. It definitely is something that you can do. And so we talked about how if I wanted to play pro, you have to stand out in this college scene. And so you have to do that, especially as a forward, with goals and assists. And so I kind of made that my mission, and I knew what I had to do. So I went for it.
Yeah, that run in September, 6 goals in 5 games, you really turned some heads nationally. Do you think that momentum changed kind of the draft process for you?
Yeah, I guess. I was like, I don't even remember like what month, like I scored which goals. I just remember I was trying to like do as much as I could. But yeah, I mean, I think it definitely helps. It helps people take notice, especially because, I think coming back from my ACL, I don't want to say I struggled the 2 years after, but like I just wasn't scoring and assisting. And I think as an attacker, it's kind of hard to say like, hey, I, like look at what I'm doing on the field when I don't have those numbers. And maybe, hey, like my coaches can say, oh, look, she is contributing a lot, but for pro scene, you need to have those numbers.
Yeah. You were selected 11th overall in the 2017 NWSL college draft by the Chicago Red Stars. Take us back to that day. What do you remember about hearing your name called?
Yeah, so I was actually in Brazil at that time. We were visiting my husband's family. Yeah, we didn't know when the draft was going to be. And so we had already had the trip planned. And I was like, oh, like I know it's a big deal. And I was excited about being drafted. And I had talked with a couple teams already. But I still went to Brazil. And yeah, I just remember being really excited. I actually wasn't expecting Chicago. I had gotten calls from, I think it was New Jersey and Portland and one other. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to one of those places. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I think, Rory had called me right before he drafted me. I was like, okay, like, let's go. I wasn't expecting this, but we're excited about it.
Chicago it is.
Yeah.
And you ended up missing the 2017 season because you got pregnant with Scarlett. What was it like getting that news? You just enter the pros and then you find out you're pregnant. What was that like?
Yeah, it was really tough for the whole year. And it's not that I wasn't excited. I was very excited. The timing of it was not, again, we talk about expectations, right? It wasn't what I was expecting. And I found myself a little bit angry and like confused. Like, I'm like, why? Like, it's like I made the decision moving forward. And, I remember I got asked actually while I was pregnant to give a talk in state conference. And I was like, oh, this is good. I probably need to learn something, And as I was studying, like the concept of like Lot's wife just kept coming to me. And so, as I looked her up more, I actually have a quote. It was a talk by Elder Holland that he gave. And he said, faith is for the future. Faith builds on the past, but never longs to stay there. Faith trusts that God has great things in store for each of us and that Christ truly is the high priest of good things to come. And then he goes on to say, she doubted the Lord's ability to give her something better than she already had. Apparently she thought fatally as she turned back and turned into a pillar of salt. as it turned out that nothing that lay ahead could possibly be as good as those moments she was leaving behind. And the fact that it's also like she, I was like, man, because so much in the scripture, it's like he, and you can put yourself in those shoes. But this, I was like, wow, he is literally talking about me. Like, I was like, I keep looking back. And so I think from that moment, I still had that little bit of like disappointment, but then I was like, it just turned into faith. And I was like, hey, God, like, I'm putting my trust in you. Like, let's move forward. And I think that was like a really defining moment for me and has really helped push me in my career through, because like, I don't know, pro sports is tough. Like, there's been some really great moments, but there's been a lot of difficult ones. And so that moment has really pushed me through.
That's incredible, because it's rare when you feel like God is speaking to you directly like that, right? Rare times in your life, you're like, okay, I get it. So that's amazing. So at what point did you and your husband decide, okay, we can still make this pro thing work?
I mean, I think right off the bat, he's always been kind of that like fire behind me, lighting that fire. And he right away was like, no, you can easily do this. Like, just focus on yourself this year in terms of like, work out, train, do what you can, and then we'll still go to Chicago. So he has definitely helped me kind of take that step forward and that leap of faith.
What was the reaction to the team and like the coaches and the organization when you told them, I'm pregnant?
Yeah, they were really supportive. I actually flew to Chicago to let the coach know. And, I still remember this very vividly. He showed me around the stadium and sat down. He's like, yeah, you're going to score a lot of goals on this field. And I was like, okay. I was like, but hold on. I was like, can we just take a step back? And I told him I was pregnant. And luckily at this point, he had 2 kids. Because before he had kids, I heard he was very strict and very mean. Wow. And so after, I think he had his kids, and it softened him a lot. And so, he just said to me, we'll see you next year.
That's amazing.
So then I came next year. Yeah. And then I think I visited the team again when I was pretty pregnant. I think I showed up and all the girls were like, who is this? Like, they didn't know it was me at first. But
so what was the process like getting back into soccer shape after having a baby?
Yeah. So I feel like because I didn't have a child, so I could kind of keep that. I don't want to say that's selfish, but I think once you have a lot of kids, it's really hard to find the time for yourself.
Yeah.
And so I just worked out the whole pregnancy and I coached. And so it was kind of a great opportunity for me to, stay in shape, be around the game still. And so it wasn't too bad coming back after in terms of like getting back into shape, but I really struggled to put muscle on just because of now, once I had my daughter, I was very, I don't want to say distracted, but I think it's a lot harder. You don't have that same, in college, I could focus on school and soccer and that was it. Whereas now it's like I had to take care of my daughter.
Well, let's bring Scarlett on. Hi, Scarlett. How are you?
Good.
So tell me, what is your favorite thing about living in Spain?
The beach.
And what do you love about the beach? Do you love playing in the water or the sand or what?
I like finding sea glass.
Oh, sea glass. That's pretty cool. So you do school at home, right? Does your dad help you with school?
No.
We have, luckily, because she was in school all year, she did Portuguese immersion in Utah. So we just have kind of the same program that she was doing, and she just can do it on the computer. So it's been really easy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So
it's been nice.
What's your favorite food in Spain?
Ooh, I want to hear this. Anything?
The pizza.
Pizza. Oh, yeah. The margarita pizza is so good. It's definitely not Spanish food, but...
Yeah, is it better in Spain than in the United States?
Yes.
It is? Hey, I believe it. So do you miss your cousins, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to go back there soon, huh? So what's your favorite place that you've traveled in Europe so far?
London.
London. What do you like about London?
I like going to the Harry Potter studio.
That sounds awesome. I want to do that. I love Harry Potter. So you speak Portuguese and Spanish. Is that right?
No, not Spanish.
Not Spanish, just Portuguese. Okay. Are you learning Spanish since you're in Spain?
No.
Not really. I think if we were here longer, we would. But I'm like, we're here for such a short time. I don't want to confuse her when she goes back to school and has Portuguese dual immersion. But the first time we were here, she was in an all Spanish school.
Oh
and right as we were leaving, she was using more Spanish words. She'd say like, pass me my mochila, or like certain, she was just using Spanish words a lot. And then we moved. So that was the extent of the Spanish. But
well, Portuguese is more important because that's where you have a lot of family, in Brazil.
yeah.
Can you say something in Portuguese for us? Can you say, hi, my name is Scarlett?
Oi, meu nome é Scarlett.
That's so good. Do you ever talk to your dad in Portuguese?
No.
He like rarely speaks Portuguese with her. I speak more with her, which is
Oh
so
my
sad.
gosh. He needs to
But
get
I
on it.
know.
Come on, Pedro.
I know.
Okay, Scarlett, what's your favorite thing about your mom?
I don't know.
Nothing? Anything?
Do you think it's pretty cool that your mom's a soccer player?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like going to watch her?
Yeah.
Depends on the day. So what do you do when you're at the games? Do you cheer super loud, or are you more just kind of sitting there quiet?
Sitting there.
Just sitting there.
She loves, we would have cousins come to soccer games and they could go to the family room and have food. I would say that was probably your most favorite part, huh? I think that's one of the things that I've loved most about being a mom is that Scarlett loves me for that and not me as a soccer player. Like she couldn't care less.
Yes.
And so, especially when I have like a hard day or something and I come home, it's like, okay, well, let's play. Like, it's just like, that's the end of it. So that has been really nice.
Scarlett, do you like to play soccer like your mom and dad?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about soccer? Is it scoring goals or is it like stealing the ball?
I like doing moves.
You like doing moves? What's your favorite move to do in soccer?
Double scissor.
This is amazing. The double scissor.
She is
Explain
pulling
that,
out
Michelle.
moves already.
What's the double scissor?
It's pretty popular. Even just a scissor, like you have the ball and your leg goes around it, around the front. So then you go one way and take it the other. You can go around it twice. But she did that for the first time, I think it was like a couple months ago, and Pedro, it was in a game, and we both just looked at each other and started laughing. Like, we're like, where did that come from? But, we encourage creativity, and it's been fun to see her keep growing in that aspect.
Scarlett, I can almost guarantee there are very few girls in soccer doing the double scissor. So that's pretty dang cool. Okay, what's something your mom does at home that you think makes her the best mom ever?
I like going to parks with her.
Going to what?
Parks.
Oh, to parks? That's fun. I love that too. Okay, Scarlett, you are so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on with us. This is just part 1 of our fantastic interview with Michele Vasconcelos. Coming up in part 2, Michele talks about how Scarlett has changed her life and soccer career. You can listen to that episode next Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Annie Robinson and Sydney Simpson for producing this episode with senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.